Welcome back to another episode of the Retro Craptacular Podcast, where each month we continue our search for the best bad movies on the planet Earth. I am your host, Aaron, and I am joined, as always, by Matt.
Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
Oh, it's early. I'm surprised I could do it that fast.
Is this the only morning recording we've ever done?
Well, for me, yeah, it's 8:28. It's 8:21 in the morning.
Yeah, still technically morning for me too.
I got
11:21.
green juice going on. Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
green
11.
juice. Is that Happy Planet green juice?
It is Happy Planet green juice.
Oh, I love Happy Planet green juice.
It was a weird impulse buy at the grocery store the other day. I bought green juice and Twinkies. Which I don't know why.
What?
I was like, fuck yeah, being healthy. Twinkies are $2. Fuck yeah, getting Twinkies.
So you're trying to break even?
Yeah, that's my goal for quarantine, is if I can just maintain weight. that will be the goal.
Oh man.
If it goes down, that's fine. I just don't want it to go up.
Oh, I don't own a bathroom scale or anything, so
Dude,
I wouldn't even
know. I just kind of judge by my face. I'm like, it's looking a little fatter these days.
Is that where you carry your weight? In your face?
I think so. Because I went to face and neck. If I look at photos of me when I was at my thinnest, there's definitely, you can see like there's like a jawline and like, yeah, my head definitely looks smaller.
Huh.
And it could be partially due to the fact that I do have a larger beard at the moment than I have in the past. But it's not the largest it's been, but you know, I used to keep it nice and tight, and now I have no reason to.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
As long as my mustache doesn't get in my mouth, that's kind of the only thing I bother trimming.
Yeah, mustache in the mouth is not fun.
It's not. It's horrible. It is horrible. Well, anyways, this is a podcast where we talk about movies.
Clearly.
And let me tell you, I started making a list about halfway through the month of all the things that I've been watching, but I've been watching so much stuff.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like, it's all I have time to do is watch stuff. So that's what I've been doing. And I stopped keeping track about halfway through. I know there's way more stuff. But I was like, oh, I should really like keep track of what I'm viewing so that we can talk about it on the show. But
the list would just be way too long. It would be the entire show.
It's exponential. It's so huge. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, how about some highlights?
Some highlights? All right, highlight number 1. I went to the drive-in theater for the very first time.
Oh, of course. Drive-in theaters. Those can be open.
Right?
That's such a good idea.
You just sit in your car. It's fantastic.
I can't believe I didn't think of that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. The problem is there's not a lot of new movies coming out, and by not a lot, I mean none.
Right, of course.
So what are they doing? They're showing the classics. So I went to the drive-in theater and I saw E.T. and Jurassic Park double feature. Yeah.
Is there a better double feature? That sounds amazing.
No. It was ideal for it was my first time ever going to a drive-in.
That was your first ever?
I've never been to the drive-in before. And I saw 2 of my all-time favorite movies at the drive-in.
Man, what an epic first drive-in experience.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Man.
It'd definitely be better with some sort of... There was a lot of people doing the, like, mattress in the back of the pickup truck kind of
classic.
Scenario.
Yeah, yep.
And I'm like, oh, that would be sweet. But
you need a pickup
other than
truck.
that, I need a pickup truck. My hatchback doesn't quite cut it. But no, it was good. That was a fun time. E.T. is still as fucking magical as ever. It was a fun time. It was my second time seeing E.T. outdoors. Fun fact. Because last summer they did
Okay.
those movies in the park.
Oh, right. I was like, have you seen it outdoors without going to a drive-in? I just imagine
Yeah,
like
they
you
did.
just sat in your backyard with your laptop and watched ET outside, or
No, but I am thinking about making a movie screen in my backyard so that I can have movie nights with friends again.
be a
Like
sweet idea.
getting a white sheet and like just building a little frame
Mm-hmm.
out of some 2x4s and like stapling it to the frame, and then we can have like socially distant movie nights because we have the backyard space for it.
Yeah, of course. It's
Plenty of
nice and
backyard
long.
space. So
Could
yeah,
stay. What is it? 2 meters? 2 meters apart?
yeah, whatever,
Unless you're
something
in a
like that.
building and then they say 6 feet and then sometimes they say 10. I don't know. Doesn't seem
Yeah,
very regulated.
except I was
Just
at the
don't
mall
touch
the
each
other
other.
day, and there was like stand 6 feet apart, and I'm like, I'm 6 feet tall, and like they have these little dots on the floor. It's like stand here, stand here. They're like
Oh
maybe
yeah.
3 feet apart, maybe,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
um,
Some
what
people
else
are
have I
not
been?
taking it seriously enough.
Yeah, no. What else have I been doing? Oh, I watched this thing. I can't remember. I think you've watched it before. Have you watched Love, Death, and Robots?
Yes.
I finally got around to watching that, and I've watched it actually a couple of times.
Oh, you have. I've only gone through them once myself.
Not yeah, I haven't watched all of them multiple times, but definitely a couple of my favorites I've gone back and watched because they're like 15 minutes long. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, very
Just
very
little
cool.
shorts.
Some animation.
Varied.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're cool.
that was pretty sweet. I like it. I want more because I've been, like I said, I've gone through them and then I've watched all my favorites again, and there's not a lot of like cool animation for adults that's like readily available, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Like it's out there, but it's definitely not as available as like say animation for children.
Mm-hmm. Which
Um
there are entire sections of all
yeah.
streaming services that are that.
Yeah. And unless you want to like go into like Japanese anime, then there's tons of
Oh yeah, that you can find. No problem.
animation for adults, but it's also kind of like a that's it's like its own universe,
Mm-hmm.
you
That's
know?
true, yeah.
Like I just I don't know where to get started for
And
that.
a lot of if you're looking for anime that's like more geared toward adults, like a large portion of it is like horror and supernatural
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
thriller, like psychological stuff. And man, I've seen a little bit of it and it gets real fucked up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I can't take it.
Animation is a license to do things like you somehow get free reign where like you could do things in animation that you could not get away with doing in live action.
Yeah.
Um and I
Yeah, that's
just don't know
true.
if because it's policed less strictly or if it's like what. I don't know. Um
Yeah, good
but
question.
even when it comes to like like mainstream, like can you imagine pitching like Into the Spider-Verse as a live action movie?
Yeah, not really.
Like we're gonna have 5 Spider-Men, and one of them's a pig, um, and one of them's black and white, and that's what
Yeah,
we're
wouldn't
gonna.
exactly work.
Yeah. They'd be like, how about he fights Doc Ock? How about you just do one Spider-Man and just have him fight the octopus guy, and we'll make $1 billion and we'll all fuck off.
Perfect.
That seems to be how big movies get made. But the big thing that I'm doing again is I've gone back and continued my Battlestar Galactica rewatch.
Oh, right.
Good goddamn, this is a fucking good show. Holy shit.
Man, I
I
never finished it.
I am in season 3. I've never finished it either. I'm now at the point where I am getting new episodes.
Oh,
Because I
nice.
stopped after season 2. I started season 3 briefly, and for whatever reason never finished it. And so I'm now at the point where I am caught up to where I had stopped watching, and new things are happening, and shit be cray.
Oh man, I can only imagine.
I am very, very, very much into this show. Yeah, it's so good. And I put out a tweet where I said the first 2 seasons of this show are better than anything that has been released on TV in the last 10 years. And
Wow.
I was met with no disagreements.
Oh,
There's one guy who said, "Well, if you had said released in America, I would agree with you." And I'm like, "Okay. Fine. Fine.
I wonder what he was specifically thinking
British
of.
TV, 100%. He was guaranteed thinking about British TV.
No, but like what show?
Oh, probably Doctor Who. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what people on Twitter
I-
like.
yeah.
I just that whole British TV is better than American TV. Nonsense. Nonsense.
No, they both have good and bad shows.
Yeah. Absolute nonsense, I say. American Office is way better than the British Office. And that's a hill I'll die on. I will fight all of England on that. Anyways.
Now that
What
you've
have you-
declared war against the nation.
Yep. Fuck you and your horrible, horrible show. Starring a horrible, horrible man. I don't like Ricky Gervais. Anyways. What have you been up to?
Well, I mean, I not that much. I don't work. I take care of the house. I take care of the dog. I starting today, I'm gonna be the dungeon master for a campaign with my siblings.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah.
Classic D&D. What you doing?
Yeah.
5th edition, advanced. Fucking
Oh, gotta do that 5e because I don't know any of the older ones.
oh, cool, yeah.
I'm still newish to D&D as far as D&D is concerned because it's a super fucking old game.
Oh, every time I try to learn it, I just I take one look at it. And I'm like, it's too many rules, man. And I
Yeah,
close
what
it.
you really need is someone who already knows the rules, who can give you
Yeah.
the bare minimum for you to just start playing,
Yeah,
and then you will learn as you go, and it'll be fun. That's
I find
the best way
I
to
find
go.
that's the best way because I've been reading the manuals for the Alien RPG,
Oh, that's right.
and that seems pretty straightforward. The dice mechanic is both very simple and very hard to figure out at the same time.
Yeah, what does that game use again?
D6s,
Right, yeah.
and basically it's like to succeed, you have to roll a 6. But to fail, you have to roll a 1. So as long as you
Mhm.
don't roll a 1, you're fine. But if you don't roll a 6, you also don't succeed.
Are there modifiers?
Yes. But it just relates. I think it just relates to the number of dice you roll.
Oh, right. So if you have like a 2 in this thing that you're trying to do, then you get to roll 2, so you have 2 chances to get a 6.
Yeah. Then there's-
Okay.
Then there's also because you can gain stress points in if like you see a chest burster come out of someone, that's a stressful situation. So then you get a
For
stress
sure.
point, and then you have to roll a dice as well. That's a different color every time you roll. You also have to roll stress dice.
Oh.
So there's more chances of you getting a 6, but then there's also chances of you getting a 1. And if you get a 1 on the stress dice, then you panic. and then something bad happens.
Ugh.
Yeah. So it's like little mechanics like that where it's like it seems pretty straightforward, but also there's like little nuance rules that like muck it up real fast.
Okay, but all you really need to know to start is
Yeah.
6 you do it, 1 you don't.
Yeah, basically.
Sweet. Man,
And
it'd be fun to play that game.
there was an
Super
interesting thing in there that
creepy
I was
when...
reading. Yeah, oh yeah, dude. I want to play it with a bunch of people who have like never seen Alien
Yeah.
and have no idea what's going on. So then cuz like if I was like playing the game, I'd be like, "Oh, there's a dark room full of like leathery objects on the ground." Gonna just close that door and go in another, but like
Yeah,
you
for
gotta
sure. Yeah.
if you play it with a group of like total noobs who know that like, oh, it's about an alien that kills people, I guess. I don't know. And they know that it's going to be scary, then you can kind of I think then it would be very 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 fun to just like put them in scenarios and watch them freak out.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it'd be very good. Um yeah, so I got to figure out a way to set that up. There was an interesting thing actually I read in that book, and I don't know if I haven't read too many other RPG manuals, but there's this interesting concept in there, and I don't know if this is interesting to anyone listening to this. They came here to listen to us talk about movies, but we're talking about RPGs now. Um,
Buckle up.
there's this concept of like failing forward. So like you never want to, as a dungeon, this was in the game masters section of the book, where it's like you never want to put your characters in a scenario where they will like just automatically be killed, or it's like an unwinnable situation for them. So it's like the example that they put um in the book was like they come to a door and they have to perform like a computer hack skill check to open the door and escape from the alien, but they don't make a successful roll. So then they're like, well, instead of just having the door not open, maybe the door starts to open and then stops, leaving a gap that's only big enough for people to go through one at a time or something like that.
Okay.
So it's like they failed, but you still need to give them a chance to play and succeed.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. You never want the game master to feel like they're setting you up to lose, right?
Yeah, you don't want the dynamic of players versus game master. That's not how it should feel.
No. Which is why I've been trying to come up with an idea of like this copyright, by the way, like a slasher movie RPG,
Hmm.
and like trying to come up with scenarios where like you're like 5 camp counselors and someone starts murdering you, and like try to do them as like short, like single session kind of games.
Yeah.
But it's the thing I keep running into is like, well, then how do you make it not player versus game master? Like you really need to have like this altruistic like
Oh.
like you need to have Abed as your game master to be like the most like, I am completely impartial, I am the computer. you know
Yeah, pretty much.
and I think what I come up with is like there needs to be a dice mechanic of like, does the killer pop out of the darkness? Like if you roll like whatever, like, the game master has to make successful rolls to make the killer appear.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Anyways, this is an off-air conversation we can have later.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. You been watching anything fun?
Yeah, I actually been watching a string of movies that are like critically acclaimed that I've just never seen before.
Oh,
Been
nice.
been catching up on like must sees.
Nice. Good. That's a good thing to do.
Yeah, been seeing a lot of uh Brad Pitt. No.
Oh,
Wait.
No.
Brad Pitt and Matt Damon. Mostly Matt Damon, actually. I've seen a lot of Matt Damon.
Nice.
Shoot, what's the movie where Matt Damon is a ranger and Jeff Bridges is in it?
Oh, True Grit.
True Grit. I've never seen True Grit,
Oh yeah,
and I
Grit's
finally
great.
watched it. It was fantastic. My goodness.
Nice. Yeah.
And
Coen
then
Brothers did that.
Yep, and then also the one where Matt Damon is like a state ranger. He's a ranger, and then this one he's just like a state trooper, and but he's like crooked, and he's working for the mob, who is Jack Nicholson.
Oh, The Departed.
Boom, The Departed. I'd never seen that either. Yeah, just
This is like a weird game show game. you try to describe movies you can't remember the name of, and I'll be able to pull them out of my ass with at least 2 cast members.
I mean, I knew you'd be able to figure it out, no problem, really. So, but yeah. Oh, and then also watched No Country for Old Men.
Oh, beauty. Love that one.
That was intense.
A real Coen Brothers kick going on.
Yeah, for real.
That, I mean, you watched too.
Yep.
But
yeah. And then the next on my list I have actually seen, but my wife's never seen, and that's Braveheart.
You know, I've never sat through all of Braveheart.
Yeah, I can't blame you. We keep being like, that's next on our list, let's watch it. And then we sit down and be like, do we really want to spend 3 hours watching a movie right now? No, let's watch something else.
It's like, I've only ever seen it on TV.
Right, yeah.
And I think that's the way to watch it. At least, if you could watch the TV version that was edited for time and not content, I think that would be like...
Ooh, I should look into that.
Primo, if that exists. It probably doesn't, but...
I should look for that.
I went on a movie buying bender.
Oh?
I made one trip to Walmart where I rummaged through the bargain bin and then also bought some new shit. Ooh, this will interest you, actually.
Hmm?
I bought a Studio Ghibli movie.
Oh, which one?
I know. I bought Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh.
Because, you gotta see this. Hold on. They released...
Coming on back.
For whatever reason, I don't know why, they released Howl's Moving Castle in like this beautiful... Let me take the price tag off. I haven't opened it yet. It's still in its packaging. I haven't got around to watching it yet. It's on my to-do list. But they released these like steel books.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, oh, maybe they'll have like Spirited Away or like Princess Mononoke or something. No, the only 2 that they released in this limited edition steelbook is Howl's Moving Castle and Ponyo.
And Ponyo, nice.
And I was like, well, no, I'm not going to buy fucking Ponyo. But I was like, I don't know what it was, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give Howl's Moving Castle a shot. This is an Academy Award winner.
Oh, it's
I believe.
gorgeous,
Oh no,
man.
nominee. It's got nominee. But yeah, I don't know. Shout Factory put this out. So
man,
I bought some Shout Factory Blu-rays before and some steelbooks. I have their steelbook of Army of Darkness, which is fantastic.
Oh, nice. Beauty. Yeah, man,
But,
Howl's
yeah.
Moving Castle is great. It's a really good book too. The book is quite different from the movie, but they're both brilliant.
Sweet.
Plus
But
the cast, man. That's the voice acting
yeah.
cast in that movie.
Hold on. Yeah, you
is
got
fucking amazing.
Gene Simmons.
Yup.
That's Gene with a J, not from...
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah. Not from Kiss. Christian Bale, Lauren Bacall, Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal fucking slays in this movie. I love it.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna jump into that this week, I think.
Good.
The other thing I did was Valley Village opened up. So I went,
Oh, it did. Holy shit, that's a big stack of movies, dude.
this is about half the stack. I got another half.
Holy crap.
I got some sweet snap cases. You know, those like paper. Hold on. You know, they were like cardboard, and they had like the plastic, like these fucking things. They have the little snap on the side.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Bought a bunch of those. Those are kind of coming. They're like the cool collectible of the DVD world. People are starting to collect them. And they're
Crazy.
like, all these awesome movies are put out on Snapper, and I'm like, I doubt it. And then I go to the Value Village, and I'm like, oh, there's some dope movies here on Snapper. I gotta get some of these. I got like Poltergeist. I got Femme Fatale. What else did I get? Heat. I got an unopened copy of Heat.
All right.
Bullet. Oh, some good shit. Bought a big old fucking stack. Dr. Sleep. That I got at Walmart. Which is the sequel to The Shining. You ever see that?
No.
That's really good. Ewan McGregor plays a grown-up Danny.
Ah, crazy.
Yeah. Highly recommend, actually.
Sweet.
Dr. Sleep. And yeah. Got a bunch of stuff. I bought the Universal Monsters box set.
Oh.
I bought it off Amazon. Yeah, dude. And the Criterion Collection had a flash sale, so I bought like 8 movies from the Criterion Collection, like a bunch of Kurosawa movies and like Night of the Living Dead. That's basically it. I bought like 6 Kurosawa movies and Night of the Living Dead.
Nice.
Oh, and Stalker. I bought Stalker also. Anyways, I've
awesome.
I've gone on a binge buy like I haven't gone on in a while. But I bought this 30-disc box set of like Universal Classic monster movies. That's got like Dracula, Son of Dracula, Dracula's Daughter, House of Dracula, The Brides of Dracula, like,
Oh man.
and then like all the Frankensteins, The Mummy, The Invisible Man, The Wolf Man,
Now you just need to set up that
etc.
movie screen in your backyard and have a freaking marathon night.
Oh yeah, no, I was thinking about that. I was like, this would be good for like, you know, because like you can't really like show like Roadhouse. Like we live like by a busy street, so like there'd be like kids walking by and like seeing,
Yeah.
like, you know, titties. But
Yeah.
you could watch, you know, The Bride of Frankenstein.
For sure.
Yeah. So that was my went on a binge buy. A couple of these we're definitely gonna do on the podcast though. Like this Mortal Kombat triple feature.
Oh my shit.
I also bought this Chinese movie called Choi Hark's Vampire Hunters. This came out in like 2002. Right. It's like a one of those that they're like when Chinese were like, oh shit, white people love Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. We gotta cash in on this. They started making a bunch of like action movies that they could like send to thing. I got Vertical Limit, which we're actually going to talk about. This I had put this on the list of like movies to maybe watch for our The Distant Future, the year 2000 series, and then I saw it at Value Village, and I was like, "'Tis fate."
Well, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we've put this off long enough. Should we talk about Battlefield Earth?
No, I don't want to.
When we attacked your planet, all your soldiers and all their advanced technology could only put up a measly 9-minute fight before they were exterminated. Which is why man is an endangered species.
Oh, we have to talk about it.
Chatting about role-playing games and other movies.
Let's talk about me spending all my money on movies.
That's a lot of movies, dude.
Dude, so many. Nah, but they all came from Value Village. They're cheap. They're like $3 at Value Village.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They're not even overcharging for Blu-rays now. Blu-rays and DVDs are the same price. The only thing that they're marking up is like TV box sets.
Oh wow. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Let's get stuck in.
All right.
This was a horrible experience to watch alone.
Yep.
I feel like maybe it would be somewhat enjoyable in a group watching session.
Yep.
You know, where you can you can kind of chirp at the movie and all laugh at each other's jokes. But when you're just watching it by yourself, there's no one to laugh at your jokes.
Yeah, and I felt so dumb partway through watching the movie because it was just on Netflix. We should have arranged a Netflix party and watched it together
Yeah.
instead of just both watching it alone because it was so bad.
Oh, that would have been better.
Fuck.
Maybe we could have like done like a Skype call and then like synced it up.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't we do that? Anyways,
I know. Ugh.
I blame you for this. This was your pick.
This was my fault. Yeah. I found it on Netflix and was like, this looks amazingly bad. We need to watch this.
And then I was like, oh, of course. This is like supposed to be one of like the worst movies ever made. We have to watch this on our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I understand now why it's one of the worst movies ever made.
Yes.
I wish we'd watched Gone in 60 Seconds. This was the movie we were thinking about watching instead. But
Should've
alas,
done it.
we watched Battlefield Earth. You know, it was almost worth it just for John Travolta's performance. Which is one of the most insane performances I've ever seen.
Yeah?
I think so. I thought it was like amazingly terrible. To the point where I'm like, I really want John Travolta to do something. Like, stop trying to do like serious movies where he plays John Gotti and stuff like that, and do something fucking weird where he's just like a lunatic actor, because he's not a good actor. Like, John Travolta's never been a good actor. No one is watching Pulp Fiction going like, man, that Travolta performance really like fucking speaks to me. Like, he's getting carried through that movie by other people. Although this scene where he says, "Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face," that is that is comedy gold. I'll give him that. That line delivery was amazing. But the rest of the but this, like, he was so like theatrical and like almost like operatic.
He was definitely going over the top. Yeah.
Like well, you were still learning how to spell your name. I was being groomed to conquer galaxies. Like, oh, that to me, I was like, he should have had a career like Nick Cage. And I think it's because he's a Scientologist. Like, that's why he kind of probably got like, I don't know, blacklisted is the right term, but like he don't get the choice roles anymore. It's just, you know. But yeah. So let's here's some
let's
get into
actually
the context
let people
for the
in.
movie.
Yeah, people have no idea what we're talking about right now.
For the most part, I think I blacked out most of the movie, if I'm being honest, because like even looking at my notes, none of them make sense. I'll try and do my best to piece it together. But so, like, context for the movie. This was John Travolta's passion project. For like since the 80s, he was trying to get this thing made, and he wanted to play the main hero role of Johnny. Which, like, Johnny Goodboy, I think, is the character's legit name.
Good boy?
Johnny Goodboy. I had to look up some of it on Wikipedia last night before we recorded, because I needed to like refresh my memory as to what happened, because I watched it on Tuesday and it's now Saturday and I have pretty much blacked it out from my
That's
mind.
fair. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So Johnny Goodboy. And then I guess no one wanted to fund it because it's based on a book by L. Ron Hubbard, who obviously, created Scientology.
Oh, yeah.
He's a science fiction author who created a religion, and somehow people. We're not here to talk about Scientology.
Be a bonus
but
episode for Patreon.
it had a. I don't know enough about science. There's an HBO documentary. Just go watch that. You don't need to listen to me talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I just know that if the guy who invented your religion said the best way to become a millionaire is to start your own religion, like maybe that's not.
But we're not here to talk about it.
Good grounds for faith. Anyways, we're not here to talk about it. Science fiction author created his own religion. Anyways, here we go. So that obviously kind of created like a bit of a blacklist or put like a bit of a black mark on this project in Hollywood, because people are like, we don't really want to do a movie that's associated with Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable. Sort of. Maybe. I don't know. So then it got picked up by this studio that has since gone bunked, called Franchise Pictures, which was basically, it existed to like revive passion projects from celebrities, and they would, get these movies that had one, kind of name actor in them and revive them and get them to, they're like, maybe we can sell it based on this person's name alone, whatever. This was supposed to be the first half of a duology. It covers only about half of the book, Battlefield Earth, which is like a 1,200 page book apparently.
All right.
So you're looking at a real like It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2 scenario kind of here going on. But it failed at the box office, and it failed with critics, and it failed with fans.
Failed
I think the
with
only
me.
person. Oh boy, did it ever! But I think one of the first things I wrote down was like, this is like a big budget version of movies that we'd normally watch on this podcast.
Yeah,
It's just much more expensive.
that's true. Yeah.
This totally looked like a movie that you would find in like the Mill Creek box set of like 50 great sci-fi movies, and it would be called like, I mean, even Battlefield Earth is a stupid
It's
name.
a terrible name.
Yeah.
Terrible.
But it would be called like, Battle of the Cyclos or something like that, and we'd be like, oh man, that sounds like shit. We got to watch that. It starts with, "It is the year 3000. Man is an endangered species." Like, these are subtitles. I'm doing the movie trailer voice, but like there's like subtitles. These are the first things you see on the screen, and I'm like, oh, this is garbage. This is gonna be garbage.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. Basically the plot is, it's like Earth has been taken over by a. Let me see if I can do this, and jump in if I start fucking up.
I'll try.
Earth has been taken over by a race of big-headed aliens called Cyclos from the planet Cyclo. Side note, I hate when science fiction just names the race of beings after the planet.
Yeah.
Like we're not. Oh, I guess we'd be like Earthlings. Oh.
But
that's like a
aliens might call us Earthlings because we're from Earth, but we are humans. So like, maybe the humans would call the Cyclos because they're from Cyclo. But why would they call themselves that?
Yeah, I don't know. I find it very ugh. Anyways, all right.
There's a lot of ugh in this movie.
I can do this. And now that I think about it, I mean, there's a lot of, but it's like the planet Vulcan. The Vulcans are from Vulcan. They're not like Vulcanians, Like, that bothers me more so than like in Star Wars, like the Mandalorians come from Mandalore, but that makes sense to me. Like, they should have been called Cyclonians or Cyclotians.
Cyclonians.
Because Cyclos the Cyclos, it also just sounds fucking dumb. It's just a dumb name.
It is.
So anyways, they've taken over Earth and are stripping it for minerals, basically. They're
Is that
stripping
what
it of
they're
its
doing?
mineral wealth. I believe so. There's well, yeah, because then like John Travolta and Forrest Whitaker. By the way, how did Forrest Whitaker get duped into being in this movie?
I don't know.
And like, bravo on him for surviving it.
Yep.
Like, this should have been a career killer, like it was for
Yep.
everyone else. But he survived. Him and John Travolta are Cyclos, and they find a vein of gold. They find like a big gold deposit in the mountains, and they're like, oh, we need to go mine this, but they don't want to like they want to take it for themselves, basically. They don't want to alert it to the company. There's a company that runs the operations on Earth, and John Travolta's character, whose name is like Turl or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Turl.
And then
Anyways.
Forrest Whitaker's character is Kerr.
Yeah.
Kerr and
Yeah, that's
Turl.
right.
Herbert
Kerr,
Herbert.
Kerr. Yeah. They run. He's like, so yeah. Forrest Whitaker is his second in command, and they're like the overseers of the planet, and it's kind of seen as like a bung job. Like,
'Cause
they're like
Earth
backwater
sucks.
sheriffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, if you were like to join, the police force, and they were like, all right, we're gonna make you like, if you were to join the RCMP, and they're like, all right, we're gonna make you you're gonna get your own branch or station, precinct. You're gonna get your own precinct. You're gonna make you captain. You'd be like, oh sweet, where are you sending me? And they're like, we're gonna send you to Steinbach, Manitoba. You're like, oh,
Aw, damn.
how about instead of that, how about I take a pay cut and stay here?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's kind of what we're dealing with here. Sorry to our American listeners. I know that doesn't make any sense to you. It's like if you were made a sheriff of Stillwater, Texas. I don't know.
Is that a place?
Rhode Island. I don't know. It sounds like a place, doesn't it?
It does.
I think it is a place. So it sounds like the kind of like, I think I looked it up for a script I was writing once. I'm like, I need a tiny town that no one's ever heard of. So the humans, as they're referred to by the Cyclos, as man animals.
Manimals.
Yeah. By the way, man animal would be like a sweet 80s hair metal band name.
And most of the cast would fit the sweet hair metal band.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot of flowing locks in this movie.
Yeah, it basically looks like they took the wardrobe from the Planet of the Apes movies from like the 60s for like the humans. They're like, all right, let's put them in loincloths. But what if they were hot? Like everyone's, nice clean shaven, no beard. I mean, Kim Coates has a beard, but it's like, nice and groomed.
It's maintained. Yeah.
It's very maintained. Yeah, there's a lot of manscaping going on in the, distant future. So our main character, Johnny, he lives in like a tribe, and they live in some caves.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't go outside because there's demons.
Yeah.
And the demons are the Cyclos. And he's like, I've never seen a demon. So he goes outside and is immediately captured by the Cyclos.
Yeah. Well, first he meets some other peeps that aren't from a cave tribe.
Right. Yeah. He meets Kim Coates and someone else. Took me a while to figure out who that guy was, but he's the guy that's the head coach in Goon. He's been in a bunch of other stuff.
Oh, I didn't recognize him.
He's like a good, like, he's never been the lead in anything, but he's like a good, like, day player kind of guy, Like he's been in a bunch of
Okay.
stuff. And if you ever watch Goon, great movie, very funny. He plays the coach of the Halifax Highlanders. Yeah, not important. Anyways, oh yeah, so he goes out, he meets those guys, and then he's like immediately captured.
Yep.
Yeah. And they take them inside was there like a dome? They bring him inside this dome.
It's called the dome later on, but it's like a giant structure that isn't necessarily dome shaped at all.
It's like
that is like
right,
like a space station.
Yeah. Basically, they built a big bubble that they can fill with the Cyclo's atmosphere because they can't breathe Earth's atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to fill it with this quote unquote breathe gas,
Yep.
which becomes very, very important later. And in order to give the humans to be able to breathe, they just give them nose plugs on a chain.
Yeah, some kind of thing fits on the. It looked like it just fit on the outside of their noses. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like an exaggerated version of an old person's reading glasses. So it has like the two chains going to like
The two
a
chains,
backrest
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But also the Cyclos wear them.
When they're outside, yeah. It seems to be the same
Yeah.
machine. I don't know.
Yeah. But it seems very unclear as to like location ever because like even when sometimes like when the humans are outside of the dome, they're still wearing it. And sometimes the Cyclos are wearing it inside because you never really know where you are or what's happening.
Yeah, it's a little hard to keep track of.
Yeah, like the scene where John Travolta threatens to blow up his girlfriend's head with the explosive collar. I think everyone's wearing them in that scene. But
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Whatever.
So basically what happens is John Travolta wants to mine this gold and steal it for himself. He wants and then Kerr finds out about it. No, Kerr finds the gold.
You know
And he
when they find out about the gold vein like halfway through the movie. There's so much setup. This movie was 2 hours long and it did not need to be.
No, okay, but didn't John Travolta or Forrest Whitaker find the gold vein on like a satellite readout and he hid it from John Travolta?
Yeah, because at the beginning of the movie, John Travolta is supposed to be getting transferred out because his position
he's gonna
as
get a
chief of
promotion.
security was supposed to be temporary.
Yeah.
And then like the higher ups from Cyclo come and they have like a formal dinner thing and then they're like, "Guess what, asshole? You wanna stay?" And he's like, "I don't
Right.
want to. I was top of my class." And then they're like, "Well, Cyclos are evil bastards, so fuck you."
That's the gist of it. Yeah, pretty much.
Yep. And then
But,
so Kerr had found the gold vein and hid it because he was waiting for
he
Turl
thought
to get
John Travolta
transferred.
he was going to get transferred, he was going to get promoted, and then he was going to be like, "Hey, look, I found this gold vein." So then he comes up with the idea that they should steal the gold together
Yeah.
and not tell the higher ups at the cyclotron
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Pretty much.
Is basically what I got from that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but
so
the gold vein is like in an area where there's like a little bit of like natural radiation going on or something.
Right, so the Cyclos can't mine it. Yeah, that becomes
Uranium, that's what it was.
yeah, their breathe gas reacts quite violently to uranium.
Yeah, like it explodes.
Yeah, which comes into play later in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So they devise this plan where they're going to teach the man animals to mine. And they're like, "Well, how are we going to do that? They're stupid. We can't even communicate with them. Like they don't speak our language. We don't speak their language. And then they were like, wait a minute, there was that one kind of smart man animal. Because in the very beginning scene when Johnny gets picked up by the Cyclos and brought into the dome, he kind of tries to escape and he gets his hands on one of their guns and shoots and kills one of them.
Basically,
And-
as a fluke, because
Yeah, it's like a fluke, yeah.
But
And then John Travolta's like, well, I'm not going to put shot and killed by man animal on the report unless I see some evidence. So try to take the gun away. They give him the gun. And they're like, all right, try to take it from him. He's like, I'm not going to do that. He's like, sure you will. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. He's like, well, look, he's obviously not going to shoot you because he's a man animal. Try and take it from him. And so he's like, oh, fine. So he like takes it from him, and then Johnny shoots and kills him. He's like, oh, well. That was interesting.
I'll be.
Well, I'll be. Yeah, it says something. Is that what he says?
I don't know. I was just saying it.
It's something like that, though. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll be damned, or something like that. Like, oh, terrible acting. This should have been John Travolta's like introduction as like the king of schlock. Like he should have just made crap garbage movies like Nicolas Cage has been doing for the last 20 years.
Would have been a very different road.
But it wasn't, because he took it seriously, and that was his downfall.
So seriously, my goodness.
Yeah, so they kidnap Johnny, and they shoot a laser into his brain that teaches him
Mm-hmm.
how to speak Cyclo, and it teaches him all of their knowledge.
And that was actually the beginning of that scene. Was where my brain cried out in pain to the point where I had to just like stop for a little bit, because they grab John Travolta, grabs Johnny Goodboy, because he thinks that he's smart enough to learn, and brings him into this learning machine. But what happens is a hologram of a different species appears. That's like basically being like, oh, I am just a humble alien serving the Cyclos, and if you're watching this, that means that all of my people and my planet are already dead because of the Cyclos, but I will try to teach you even though I am inferior. I will do my best. Please forgive me.
Wait, that's a scene in this movie?
Yeah, that fucking happens, dude.
I have no memory of that happening.
Not at all. It's so fucking bad and so weird and uncomfortable, because then the hologram disappears and all the learning is done from a light being shot into his brain. So why was that there?
It's not important. What is important is that we all learned something.
What?
I don't know. I'm trying to justify it, man. It's not.
I feel
It's
like you
not
need to see
working.
that scene. I feel like you need to see that scene. It's just so bad. Maybe I'll...
Yeah, I
Maybe I'll
said,
show
I
you
definitely
later.
blacked out at some point during this movie, where I just like my brain was like, you don't want to be here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So anyway, they shove the info into his brain. Firstly, like it teaches him Cyclo, so that he can actually speak with John Travolta,
Yeah.
and then,
Oh yeah, they bring a bunch of the humans into their office to repair a bulkhead that John Travolta keeps like bashing his head on
oh yeah,
because it's too low, which is weird because the Cyclos are supposed to be like 9 feet tall or something. Like they're supposed to be huge, way bigger than humans, and John Travolta's like 5'4". Like he's the tiniest fucking giant alien, and they tried to make up with it for. They tried to make up for it with like a giant like head and hair, but
and he has like big platform boots on, a lot of the time.
yeah, it's rough. But I mean, it's so good. Oh, excuse me. It's some good self-awareness by John Travolta to make himself the villain in this movie.
Yeah.
You know?
But also then he gets, I mean, like, even like the way we've been talking about the movie this whole time, we've mostly been talking about John Travolta's character because he gets so much screen time and, I mean, I guess I'll say development, but his character does not change. But he's the villain. He's not the main character. He's like Johnny.
Yeah, it's
Johnny
like,
is supposed to be the main character.
it's like if the entire, like, it's like if Star Wars was told from Darth Vader's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You just had like 5 minutes with Luke on Tatooine at the beginning, and then the next time you see him is when he shows up on the Death Star.
Yeah, pretty much.
Darth Vader's like, "Who is this boy?"
Because I mean, like,
I'll try to-
while Johnny's like learning shit, we do have scenes with him kind of like pontificating these new thoughts with the other humans and like starting to kind of teach them and build the rebellion. I feel like we don't get enough of that though. It doesn't.
Well, like it only comes in about like an hour into the movie that
Ugh.
starts happening.
Yeah.
The big thing is like there's that whole scene where they're like, "Oh, we need to like figure out how to bribe the man animals. Like, what does the man animal want?" It's like, "Well, maybe we can give him some food." And then it's like, "Well, what is his favorite food?" And so they like set them free in like the sewers, and like film them so that they can like see what they like go after, and they catch a rat and eat the rat, and they're like, the man animal loves rats.
The
We
favorite
will-
food, uncooked rat.
Uncooked rat. We will bribe them with some raw rats. And like so like that scene is insane. Where they're just eating
Yep.
raw rats, but like yeah. Oh man, it's so dumb.
Oh my
So basically he teaches Johnny their language. Johnny learns about the Cyclos and their way of life, and then he strikes this deal with them where it's like, okay, you mine the gold for me, and I won't kill your woman.
Pretty much, yeah. He puts an explosive collar around her neck because she left to
Yeah.
go find him because he never came back.
Right. Yeah. So he's like, I won't kill your woman with explosive collar. And then he also puts an explosive collar on someone else and detonates it. And we don't get to see the head explode. And
Yep,
that
it's
was
it's all off screen.
in fact, most of the deaths in this are done in like an extreme close up. Like someone's about to get shot, you see someone like point the gun, and then it cuts to an extreme close up of the person who's dying, and they like jump out of the frame.
Yep.
That's most of the deaths. Also, the lasers in this movie suck.
They're so weird. And most
just,
of the
like-
time, they just don't use sound.
Yeah.
It's like something dramatic is happening, like the gun shooting, but then like all of the sound cuts out and it's just the music.
Yeah, and like the lasers just like they hit someone and they just like disappear inside them and don't leave a mark, and
Yep.
then the person like jumps on the ground. It's so terrible.
So bad.
But now we're about to enter the dumbest part of the movie.
Oh, we're not even there yet?
No, we're not even there yet. We're about to enter it. So
Let's do it.
they agree to mine the gold for him, and so, they get all their equipment out to this cliff where they're supposed to mine the gold, and one of the humans is like, Johnny, how are we gonna mine the gold? Like, we don't know how to mine the gold. We can't do this in a week or 2 weeks or whatever the window is, right? And he's like, we don't have to mine it. We just got to go to where the gold has already been mined. And then they bring their drill to Fort Knox. They just walk to Fort Knox.
Did they have flying? They had the ships. They
Do
had
they have ships?
I think they had a ship. I think they needed a ship to get out to because they teach Johnny how to fly.
Oh, I thought they got dropped off. They had a ship?
I think they have a ship, didn't they? Because they couldn't get dropped off right by the gold vein because the aliens couldn't get close enough because of the radiation.
Oh, okay. Maybe they had a ship.
I assumed they had a
assumed-
ship.
Okay, see, I assumed they were walking.
No, they just walked
I
to
was-
Fort Knox.
Yeah. and then walk to Fort Hood later to get guns, like in Texas, where they walk to Kentucky to go to Fort Knox, take all the gold, haul it back. This is the dumbest part of the movie. They go to Fort Knox. They use their drill to open up the. No, they had to have had a ship. They had to have.
They must have. That's the only thing that makes sense. They travel around a lot. This part of the movie, they needed to have a ship.
They must have. Okay, sure. Let's say they did. They
we
just
don't
drill
see
open.
it, but
Yeah, they drill open the front door of Fort Knox, and like the door to a vault is just ajar. It's just open ajar, and he's like, oh, and just like pushes it open, and they walk into this room. It's just full of gold.
Yep.
And they're like, cool, let's just haul this all back. And then they haul it all back. And John Travolta shows up, and he's like, why is it in bars? And they were like, oh, we figured a sophisticated cyclo like you wouldn't be satisfied with it in its raw form. And he's like, well, since you've made such good time and you had all this extra free time to smelt it into bars, I expect the rest of the gold in a week. And then he fucks off.
Yeah.
And then...
But like, how in the fuck would they have been able to smelt gold?
Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't
No
make any
sense at
dude.
all.
This
None.
movie is fucking dumb. It's so dumb. Oh.
Yeah, so they only gave him half of the gold. So
Yeah.
that they would have the other half already there for next time he came. So then they used their time left to, as you said, go to Texas and get all the guns.
Yeah. Where are you going to get guns in America? Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Go to America, get some guns. And also some like F-18s. They spend a lot of time in a flight simulator.
Oh yeah, there's like an
like,
entire
get
tribe
some rocket
of,
launchers.
an entire tribe of man animals that like joins forces with them, and they just leave them at an air hangar where there's like
Yeah.
a flight simulator, and they're like, okay, learn how to fly fighter jets. We'll see you later.
And the guy's like, oh, you're right. I'm starting to get the hang of this. Ooh. Like it's, oh my
Fuck.
gosh, dude. It's bad.
It's
is
so
bad.
terrible.
I wish it was entertaining, but it's not.
No, it was just painful. Just painfully dumb.
Yeah. So,
So yeah, their master plan, and that like Johnny
Right.
hatches because now Johnny's brilliant because he knows everything.
Yeah. So then they
'cause of the
basically
learning
just like
machine.
foment insurrection.
Yeah, the plan is to like have the rest of the captured man animals kind of like revolt, but not use real guns so that they're not just killed right away as kind of a distraction. And then the main two goals are twofold. One, blow up the dome, like breach the dome so that the cyclos are hit with Earth's atmosphere and can't
Right.
breathe. And then the next is that they build like a uranium bomb to put on the teleporter to send to the cyclo home planet. Because
Right.
if they set it off, the atmosphere will blow up. So
Yeah.
instead
They
of just
blow up.
like, we're not just going to free the humans, they're going to commit genocide.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Love when
Super
that
cool.
happens.
Yeah. Super cool.
Fictional genocide. Good.
And I mean, like, I guess like, it makes sense because if they just freed the humans, then they would be captured again later by the cyclos. And if they just killed the cyclos that were there, more would be sent from the home planet. And so Johnny's like, the only way out is kill all of them.
Yeah, we'll kill everyone, and we'll just kill everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Basically his plan. And it goes off more or less without a hitch. They
Like, there are a few hitches to like make it interesting, right? Like,
yeah.
like the teleporter doesn't go off right away because John Travolta interrupts it, and the bomb to set off the bomb to breach the dome like cracks all of the
Yeah.
glass of the dome but doesn't shatter it, and then
It doesn't shatter it.
that one character Shoot, what was his name?
Yeah.
The one he meets him right away. Like when Johnny first leaves, he meets this dude who's been with him the whole time.
Yeah, it's Kim Coates. He
yeah.
has to he crashes his plane into it and then like shoots a bunch of bombs with a rocket launcher when he's like hanging from the.
Yeah.
I kind of like the way that looked actually when he was like hanging from the chair like upside down.
Yeah, I
don't
mean
know
that's a pretty
why.
cool scene.
I was like, that's kind of neat.
But also, he has a rocket launcher and knows how to use it. And where did all those explosives come from? Were they just in his plane and didn't blow up when he crashed?
Yeah. That's it. That's pretty much it. You nailed it.
So anyway,
Good job.
he breaches the dome, and then all the humans that were being like rebelling also have guns and all know how to use guns. And like his
Everyone
girlfriend's
knows
there
how to use
leading them using
Oh yeah.
a mortar or something, or like a grenade launcher.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I mean, like, them just suddenly knowing how to use all these guns is one thing, but there was something that stuck out to me that bothered me so much. And I don't know why it bothered me so much, but and maybe I just missed it, how they suddenly came to this phrase, but Kim Coates starts saying this phrase a lot, and it catches on, and all the other humans say it. They keep saying, piece of cake.
Oh yeah.
How in the fuck would they know that saying? They don't know what cake is.
I
They're
don't
cave
know.
people.
Yeah, they first kind of picked it up as like, or when I picked up on it was when they were in the flight simulator.
Yeah, that's the first time I remember hearing it, where Kim Coates is just like, piece of cake, piece of cake, piece of cake.
I feel like they must have heard it either from Johnny or there was a scene where like Turl said it or something.
But Turl doesn't speak human.
That's also a good point. I don't know.
It bothered me so much. I was like, there's no way they should know this saying. And like they're flying in the planes, and there's like, I'm on your tail. And I was like, how do they know the nomenclature? Like,
I don't know. Well, maybe the flight simulator had a little
oh,
paper
maybe,
clip,
I guess. But
like, popped up in the corner. It was like, it looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're trying to.
tail.
Looks like you're in a dogfight. Tell your wingman you got a bogey on your 6. Maybe they had Top Gun at the library at Fort Hood, and they just like during some downtime, they're like, oh, let's watch Top Gun.
Probably.
R&R.
You know, that would actually explain a lot of this movie if they just had watched Top Gun. And at some point in Top Gun, I'm sure Tom Cruise says piece of cake. So
Yeah,
solves
the
that
volleyball
mystery.
scene would have made a lot more sense too.
Yeah. Oh
Anyways,
boy.
good. Okay, so this was a movie. This was supposed to be a 2-parter.
What was the
They were
second
supposed
part
to do
going to be?
I don't know, because apparently this only covers about the first 460 pages of the book.
Woof.
So I'm guessing there's more Cyclos out there somewhere. Or maybe Turl breaks out of Fort Knox and gets his revenge. Because also
that's
Kerr,
right.
I think,
We didn't say how it actually ends. Like,
Oh, right.
yeah. So the plan goes out. The humans get free because they know how to use guns, and Johnny gets away from Turl or something. Manages to set off the. Oh yeah, no. Turl actually goes and turns the transporter on in order to get reinforcements and like send in the gas drones. And then the dude who is like the either friend or brother of the dude that Turl blew up the head of, he's the one with the uranium bomb, and he's been waiting there on the pad, and he gets to Cyclo, sets off the bomb, whole planet explodes, and then Turl is captured and put in a cage, and they put his cage in Fort Knox, where he's just surrounded by all the gold. And then all of a sudden Kerr is there, and Turl's like, kill them, Kerr. And Kerr hands Johnny a gun. He's like, yeah, I fixed the problem. It should work better now. And then Turl's like, what are you doing? And Kerr's just like, oh yeah, I'm teaching them about our stuff. And they made me the head of the Cyclos. The end.
But at least you got your gold. That's the
Oh yeah.
that's the big like fuck you line at the end. Where they're like, at least you got your
Yeah.
gold. Yeah. It was real bad, man. It was real bad.
It was pitiful. Oh.
Yeah. Oof. Big oof.
Big oof.
But it was one that we had to cover. It's gone down in history as one of the worst movies ever made. And I can see why.
Yeah. Trash.
Real trash. It won worst movie of the decade at the Golden Razzies in 2010.
Oh, lovely.
And then this came out in 2000. So there was nothing worse than this for 10 years after.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Very impressive. So
there's
anyways,
there's one more thing too. The transitions. Did you see the
Oh,
transitions?
yes, I did. The center wipes. So many center wipes.
Yep.
Every transition in this movie is it splits. It's a wipe that splits from the center of the screen, but it takes like 2 full seconds
Yep.
to.
They're really slow.
Oh my god, dude!
The first one happened and I was like, "Ooh, that was bad." And then the second one happened and I was like, "Oh no, is this gonna be every time?" And it was.
It was. I would have welcomed a star wipe.
Yes, absolutely. If I had seen a star wipe, I would have smiled. Would have been visibly
I would have been-
gleeful.
It would have been gorgeous. But
Terrible.
alas, no star wipes. I don't think we need to really bury the lead or anything. No sort of pomp and circumstance. It's pretty obvious what we feel about this movie. Do you want to do the honors?
That is one big pile of shit.
Isn't it just? Oh my god.
That is one big pile of shit.
Woof.
This is when it's moments like this where I'm like, why do we do this to ourselves? Like if I'm going to paraphrase the Muppet Show theme song, it's like a form of torture to have to do this show sometimes.
Yeah.
It was
again like if we watched the movie together, it would be so much nicer. Like for real.
Yeah, I mean, it still would have been awful, but we could have at least laughed. But alas, no laughter was had today.
None.
Only tears. Side note, speaking of the Muppets, have you watched the Muppets show from I think like 2015 or 2016?
No, I still haven't seen that.
There's one season of it and then it got canceled. It's on Disney Plus. Go watch it.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I'd love to watch that.
It is
awesome.
It is beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. It got done dirty. It should have had a longer run.
Shame. That's sad.
Yeah. That was another thing that I've been watching.
Sweet.
That. Well, that pretty much does it for us this week, I think, right? We're going to continue our distant future year 2000 marathon. This is what I want to do next week. Next week is our 40th episode. Or sorry, not next week, next month. And we have a rare opportunity here. Every now and then Hollywood does this thing where 2 people have the exact same idea at the exact same time, and they release the exact same movie within the same year. So in 2000, we got Red Planet and Mission to Mars both in the same year. So what I would love to do is watch both of them and talk about them next month.
It's going to be an undertaking, but I think we need to do this.
I think we do too. Mission to Mars, I fucking loved that movie when it came out. When I was
I haven't
8.
seen either, so
Oh man,
totally
I've
fresh.
definitely seen I've definitely seen both. I don't really remember Red Planet. I kind of remember Mission to Mars because I rented that one frequently.
Awesome.
And in my mind, Red Planet was like the dumb knockoff because I hadn't seen it,
Oh.
and so it was therefore bad.
Well, of course.
So yeah, we're gonna do a big old 40th episode extravaganza, 2 movies for the price of nothing because the show's free.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. There's so many movies that I wanted to do on this show, man. There's some good shit that came out in the year 2000. And also technically we're going to do one movie that came out in December of 1999, but it has 2000 in the title, so I'm just rolling with it.
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough. So yeah, that's what we're going to do next month. I think the schedule I sent you the list of movies. I think we're pretty solid on those.
Yeah, I got those. Looks good. I think we're set up for a strong year.
Nice. So now, yeah, that's pretty much going to be the layout. So we will tease each movie at the end of every episode from now on, and that will be what we watch. Not like last month where we're like, let's watch Gone in 60 Seconds, and then we don't. But we should have. Now to end the show efficiently, quickly, and concisely. Here we go.
Good luck. Take it away.
Thank you for listening to the show. If you like the show, please rate and subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. It helps a lot. Also, if you tell a friend, that also helps a lot. You can find us anywhere that podcasts can be listened to. We on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever the fuck it's called now, Spotify, YouTube, Google. If you Google the Retro Craptacular, we show up. It actually works. It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
We're on. I know, right? You really made it once you're Googleable. Once you Google the thing that you want to Google, and it's like the first thing that shows up, that's when you've made it.
Nice.
We are on all the social medias at RetroCrapPod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Twitter is where I hang out the most. So you want to see me tweeting about Battlestar Galactica and how they didn't even take time to like mask out the Scotiabank logo in one of the establishing shots on Caprica. Seriously, it does the worst job of hiding Vancouver. There's just a shot where it says Cylon occupied Caprica, and there's a shot of the Scotiabank Tower with the Scotiabank logo on it, and I'm like, I could have gotten rid of that in 20 seconds on After Effects. 20 seconds, I could have done that for you, but whatever. So that's where I'll be tweeting about Battlestar Galactica mostly, and the fielding a torrent of hate about how I was like, yo, what if the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League sucks, though? That's the thing. They announced the Zack Snyder cut's coming out in 2021 on HBO Max.
Okay.
Justice League. Whatever. Well, because Joss Whedon was brought in to do the reshoots and did some rewrites, and everyone's like, he ruined the movie. Snyder Cut's going to be good, but what if it sucks? Because all of Zack Snyder's movies are bad except for Dawn of the Dead. So you want to yell at me about this? Twitter's the place to do it. Other than that, we have a Patreon. There's some stuff up there now. We got a Dune commentary. The first ever episode we recorded for the show and then decided not to release at the last minute because we thought we could do a better job. That's up there. We did it on Komodo.
Yeah, that's right.
Which we should maybe revisit Komodo at some point, but
I think it'd be worth
not
it.
yet. That was another one of those movies that I always saw on the video store shelf and wanted to rent, but never did. Yeah. So that's where that is at. I think that's everything. Did I do everything? We have a Patreon.
Probably. I wasn't listening.
Patreon.com/RetroCrapPod. I think I made a link tree. If you go to any of our socials, there's a link tree link. You click on that, and then it takes you to a page that has all the links to our stuff.
I didn't know that was a thing.
retrocrappod@gmail.com. You can send us a Gmail, and that's when we'll talk to you in person. every now and then we do get an email, and it's wonderful. Went off the rails again at the end. I can never do it.
Always does.
And I always think about, oh, maybe I'll record it. You know what? I'm not gonna at this point.
No.
I like a nice fizzle. I like my my content to just end with a whimper, you know. Just well, because also like it's just kind of good to know that like, you know, the show's over. You can leave if you want. I'm gonna prattle on about a couple of things. You don't need to stick around. But if you do, maybe it'll be funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If anyone's still listening, it must be because they actually enjoy it. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
So thank you, person listening. And until
either that or
next
they
time-
weren't paying attention. And only just now
my-
when you said thank you, person listening, they're like, oh shit, this is still on?
they just woke up from their nap they were taking, realized their phone was still playing podcasts. They were listening to a good podcast before, and then ours just started playing by accident. Anyways.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to the show. Really appreciate it. You guys are the tits. And until next time, keep watching crap.
While you were still learning how to spell your name, I was being trained to conquer galaxies.